Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another season of Interboro Bucs football here on YouTube, courtesy of Go Bucs Sports. We're going to pause for the national anthem before we get started. So we go on the air just as the national anthem is about to be played. Our national anthem, courtesy of Joe Barrett's iPhone. Interboro band not in attendance tonight, but we do have Joe Barrett's iPhone, who he found himself a nice stream to play for the national anthem. And just watching that flag wave in the air and seeing a couple Marines down there saluting the flag and the police officers standing and saluting the flag and our kids' faces, just reminds you that all was right in the world. It's late summer and it's time for some football. Your Interboro Bucs in a non-league matchup tonight against a very tough Central League team, the Strath Panthers. This is a team that is coming off a defending district championship in the lower division, the 3A division, and they're definitely a formidable matchup. Strath wins the toss, and they have deferred into the second half. They're going to kick off. Tim Steyer, the kicker, will be kicking off deep. You see Interboro's back there. Anthony Barr's back there. Luke Mara back there. And they're going to do their darndest to try to keep it away from number 4, Luke Mara. We'll talk about him plenty. You can see they just kick it up in the air. Field at the 30-yard line. And brought down at 37. Tommy receiver. Return. A lot of these guys wearing different numbers this year. As they get a little bit older, they get numbers that are a little bit more preferable. I think Tommy wore like 17 or 18 last year, and he's wearing 7 this year. Bucs quarterback, just like the last year and the year before, Julian Bolivis, his kind of like 2.5 or third year under center. Tolu Awuyemi, the fullback, and Abu Kamara, the tailback. And they go right to Abu, and Abu slices and dices for about 7 on the first carry of the season, and it's a name that you'll be hearing me say a lot this year. And the Delaware County Times called him one of the best, if not the best, back in the entire county, and I have to say that I'm pretty much on board with that assessment. On top of being a great athlete, a good basketball player, a good all-around athlete, he's also a great kid, good student. Abu over midfield and down to the 42. And talking with some of the Strath coaches prior to the game today, they certainly said, we really hope we can keep number 4 in check. And I think that just every opponent that the Bucs face this year, the defensive game plan is going to be the same. Let's try and stop number 4. We'll set the remainder of the lineup as we move forward. See on the far end, Dom Gunther making his first start at the wide receiver position. Happy for Dom. This is Tolu Awuyemi, the fullback, ahead to the 37. That Anthony Barr is going to be the guy over there in that slot back position. He'll be the guy that you see on the jet sweeps oftentimes. Like the job previously held by Billy Kyle, if you were a fan of last year's broadcasts. Bulovis to Abuyemi again. Not as much this time. Bring up about a 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5. Panthers, Strath Haven itself is actually celebrating its 40th year as a school, as a high school. It was sort of the merger of two schools in the early 80s, sort of during my formative years, I guess. I didn't realize at the time that Strath Haven was such a new school. But it didn't take long for them to find themselves a good coach in Mr. Clancy, who's the coach over there. He's been the coach at Strath Haven for a long time. They had multiple district championships. As Abu Kamara bursts forward for a first down to the 25-yard line. 2 state championships, several state finals, quite a powerhouse. Strath Haven and Interboro are separated by just a couple of miles down McDay Boulevard. So a lot of these kids, not just the football players, but the students know one another. And they're certainly in the age of social media and a fair amount of chirping taking place between the two sides. So we'll see that play out as the evening progresses, I assume. Strath Haven, good attendance on their part. Pitch out to Kamara. He'll be stuffed behind the line of scrimmage. Nice stop. Bob Fuskus was first on the scene. They'll call it a no gain. As always, our PA announcer right below me is Mr. Ed Barrar. This is like his 30-something year as a volunteer PA announcer. One of the best in the business for sure. Bulovis under center, 2nd and long. It's Kamara straight up the middle. Kamara, first down. And he's just so big and strong. And he gets those legs moving. And he reaches like seemingly his top end speed so quickly. And when you have a kid moving that quick with that much body mass, he's just going to be tough to bring down. I don't care how well trained or how good the defense is. He's going to put some numbers up. And seeing the work that he did in the weight room last year, he used to be just like a tall, skinny kid with a lot of raw speed and ability. And as so many high school football players do after a couple of years in the weight room, they just fill out. And this is Barr up the gut for a Bucs touchdown. So for all the talking we do about Kamara and Awuyemi, it's Anthony Barr who has the first score of the year. And this 4-minute and 28-second drive reminds us of the days of Steve Lennox. Take the ball, run down the field, and score a touchdown. And now if they can keep doing that and just keep the other team out of the end zone, we should be okay. So Bucs with a 6-0 lead early. Dunleavy in to kick the extra point. It's up and good. Pressure from the outside, but still a great kick. So you see Bucs coaching staff just chock full of Interboro football legends. Former quarterback Den Lux is the head coach. Former Southeastern Pennsylvania Player of the Year, Sean Wasson, the defensive coordinator. The brothers Hummel, all of them as members of the staff. I see Brady up here. Brady, last time he was on this field, his leg snapped in half, and he's recovered from that, which is great. Had a chance to have him in class, and he's working as an assistant. Matt and Chris also on the staff. Zach McMenamin is here as well as an assistant, and of course our man Chris Long. You recognize him down the field. He's tough to take your eyes off him because he's so darn handsome. He's down there right at the 50-yard line. That's Chris Long. He's a member of the teaching staff, great former Interboro football and baseball player, and just a great person all around. Had a chance to talk to him yesterday about this game, and just kind of what to expect from Strath Haven, what to expect from him. So his insight and intel certainly helped make this broadcast possible as well. So Dunleavy, who just showed off that big leg, will have it teed up at the 40-yard line. Bucs with a successful first drive. Strath Haven had their men back deep. It's like Chase Nangle is the guy in the middle. We'll see if the Bucs are going to kick off or not. Strath Haven band providing the soundtrack. And it's received at the 15. Cuts up the middle and taken down at the 34. I believe that was receiver on the stop. Number 30, Shane Green, was the man who returned it. And it's time for the Strath Haven offense. Sam Milligan, he's with his third year as quarterback for the Strath Haven Panthers. And their big running back, as you know, Anthony Crawford. He'll be, the man who gets the most of the carries for them. So you'll hear a lot of Milligan and Crawford. This is another team that does not throw the ball very often. And first play of the game, he's met behind the line of scrimmage. You see up front there, big Matt Gallinall, right in the center of that line. Logan Roberts also in there as sort of the guys to plug up that running game. This is Fuskas. He'll get about 8 on the play, past the 40 to the 42. And, of course, if you're Interboro, you want to keep those backs out of that second and third level. But fortunately, someone was there to make the stop. And everything just inside the tackles, as you can see, Strath Haven not even pretending that they're going to throw it. Flag stops the play. Back as corners, you have Eben Affini and you have Anthony Barr. Abu Kamara also back as a defensive back. So Bucs jumping off sides is going to give the Strath Haven Panthers their initial first down up to the 48-yard line. Certainly you don't want to be gifting this talented offense too many free first downs. To Crawford. Crawford up the middle, breaks a tackle. He won't be caught, and it's a 7-6 game. And all it took was for one wide receiver to come out off of that tackle box, and it drew a couple of Bucs defenders, and they couldn't play him in the middle. And as soon as he got past that first level, there was nobody to stop Crawford, and he takes it for 53 and a Strath Haven touchdown. So Panthers will now try to kick the extra point, and generally kicking game is one thing that is never a problem with Strath Haven. They usually find some kid on the soccer team and say, hey, you're going to be the kicker. And this kid Steyer boots it through without any difficulty. So halfway through quarter number 1, it's 7-7. And if anybody out there in our broadcast area thought this was going to be a walkover for the Bucs, or really for the Strath Haven Panthers, I think you're sadly mistaken. This is going to be like this, I think, the entire game. I think it's going to be really tough to stop both of these offenses and both of these offensive backs that are proven to be so proficient. you'll see Strath Haven line it up again at the 40-yard line to kick off. Kamara, Barr, and others back deep. And yeah, there's little reason to believe they'll do anything other than squib kick it or kick it up in the air. Maybe they'll kick it a different direction, seeing that Tommy receiver has proven that he can catch the ball without fumbling away. If you remember the Ridley game last year, Ridley was able to get the ball back 2 or 3 times by squib kicking it, and the special teams didn't seem able. Now someone's got to come up and get this. So it bounces, and it is Barr. Barr's got a little bit of a lane to run through. Barr will get out to the 32 or 33, so they kick it a little bit deeper past where receiver was. Barr does a nice job of picking it up on a hop, and that can always be a little bit dicey when the ball is there. I mean, it hasn't rained a ton. Sometimes there's the skid factor, but Barr did a nice job and even looked for a hole. As it turns out, field position a couple yards behind where they started the last drive. 33-yard line is where we'll go. 5:52 to go in quarter number 1. And we'll certainly, as is always part of our broadcast, we'll get to some of these great sponsors. It's Kamara to the 38, so a ho-hum 5 yards on first down. Looks like they gave him 6 up to the 39. That big offensive line anchored by Matt Gowanall and by Logan Roberts and by Mike Welsh, Nolan Royer, Rocco Barone. Those are our 5 up front. Frankie Hoffner, the tight end. This is Awuyemi. First down. Up to the 47. And I don't know that you'll find a backfield that's more physically imposing in Delaware County than the Interboro Bucs starting backfield between Tolu, Awuyemi, and Abu Kamara. They're just tall and athletic and well built, and they're just the kind of kids that, they're the kind of kids that if they weren't so darn nice and personable, people would just be getting out of their way in the hallway. But it turns out that both of them are just like the nicest people you could ever want to talk to. And Strath Haven saying ball was on the ground. I have not heard or seen anybody. Has the ref made a signal? I know that the Haven coaches and players are saying it's their ball, and now the ref says it's their ball. So ball on the ground, and first big break of the game goes to the Panthers. And this is high school, not college, so ref's decision is final. If they say it was a fumble, it was a fumble. And from my vantage point, all I could do is, I heard ball and saw Strath Haven jump on it. Whether or not it occurred prior to the running back's knee touching the ground, I don't know, but I imagine it did. There was a ref right on top of it. So Strath Haven gets that break, and it goes to Crawford again. Bucs defense bunched up again, so 45-yard line. 5 yards, Kamara with the tackle. He'll get about 6. Now, just to sort of harken back to last year, and, really the thing that makes, when you're trying to rebuild a program, as it goes outside to Nangle again, this time on a sweep, and he'll get a first down. As you see a team that slowly but surely, and we're in that third year of the Lux era already, when you're trying to rebuild a program and start up and get back to that, like Steve Lennox, late 90s, early 2000s, Bucs football juggernaut that used to be. What needs to happen to be able to play with this teams like this, like the Strath Havens and the Ridleys, and for that matter, nowadays the Academy Parks and even the Chesters and all, to be able to play with teams is to not just be as talented as they are, and not just look out after the fact and say we can beat those teams if, we don't make all these mistakes. Well, you see early 2 mistakes. A third down penalty to give Strath Haven a first down. Next play is a touchdown. Ensuing drive for the Bucs, they put the ball on the ground, and Strath Haven already in scoring position just outside the red zone at the 26-yard line, but 2 first downs into this offensive drive already. And possible that Strath Haven could end up taking the lead, really with the assistance of 2 mistakes made by the Bucs. And the transition from good to great cannot take place until those mistakes are cast aside. And we hope that over the course of the game / the year, that's what happens. Milligan to the 20. Get about half the distance that he needs for a first down. So far, we're looking at a really, I would say, like well-behaved crowd. Student section, not as packed as you normally see. This is Crawford again, and he's getting another big, strong kid down to the 10. You see Awuyemi check in, Tommy receiver check out. 11-yard line. So Haven can get a first down without getting a touchdown. If you're a Bucs fan, I assume you're hoping that they get neither. But it's a tough ask. They've had 3 or 4 guys that can carry the ball, including number 40 on the play. That's Bob Fuskas, who gets ahead to the 7. We're a minute 20 and a little bit less than that into the in the first quarter. Strath Haven shifts several guys in motion. This is Crawford again, I believe. He stopped inside the 5, but they'll give it to him at around the 3 is where they're marking it, maybe even the 2. So it'll be 3rd and really short. So 3rd short from the 3. Milligan on the keeper. And he may have gotten that first down, but certainly didn't get the touchdown. There's just no touchdown signal, but he very well might have gotten. So Haven will have 1st and goal from inside the 1. And that'll be the end of the first quarter. So we'll switch it over to the other side of the field. And Strath Haven will hope it to run one into the Hillcrest Ave side. So through 1 quarter here at South Avenue, our first quarter of what will be a long-ish football season of about 3 months or so. We'll go through some of the schedule in a little bit. Bucs on the road next Thursday. They'll be heading up to Pottsville. And then the week after we'll be home again here for a couple of home games in a row. And then on the road for 1 or 2 in a row. I'll get you the official schedule in a second. But here we are, late August. It's August, I believe it's the 26th. Us teachers, when we're on summer break, honest to goodness, I think like 2 days I keep track of, like July 4th and June 26th, and that's only because it's my birthday. Other than that, I really don't give a crap what day it is. Just tell me what day I have to go back to school, and I guess I pay attention then. But I think today is August 26th, and the season will conclude Thanksgiving, unless the Bucs make a deep playoff run, which I wouldn't put out of the realm of possibilities. So, we'll move through the super hot weather. It was pretty hot today. Took a nice stroll from the high school to Wawa. Worked up a little bit of a lather on the way. And it's Crawford, and he'll sort of fall into the end zone for a Haven touchdown. Steyer for his second extra point attempt. And bad snap, so they're going to try and run it in. And it looks like they might not do it. Nice tackle there by Kamara. So Strath Haven, with the failure to convert on that extra point try, will make it 13-7, and the first maybe time that they open the door a little bit. Bucs will get the ball back in a sec. But as I was saying before, some of the action kicked up. You see, it's a real nice environment. And I was saying to Assistant Athletic Director Joe Barrett and Athletic Director Lisa Ford prior to the game today, I get the feeling that, like, kids on both sides, as much as they're chirping at each other on the social media, realize that this is probably going to be our first for real normal year since, like, the beginning of 2019-2020. Where we start the year, the masks are off, there's full loads of classes, there's like just very little of that COVID protocol. All of which was very necessary. Just, we've kind of moved past the worst of it. I'm not downplaying that it still exists. I'm simply saying that we've moved past the worst of it. Everyone's had plenty of chances if they have chosen to get vaccinated or whatever. It's obviously a person's choice. But we're at a point now where I think we can conduct business as usual again. And that's fantastic. And I think that the kids, in some respect, are just relieved that we can start the year off normally. And this is a much better than average crowd for like that week before Labor Day, that so-called week 0. And I'm just, happy to be a part of it, happy to be the voice of all of this. I'd be a little bit happier if Tommy Receiver would break through that tackle. But nonetheless, the Bucs will have decent field position at the 32. And Julian Bolivis and the Bucs offense be set for their third drive, their first of this second quarter. And we'll see what Abu and Talou and the boys can do. Bucs touchdown came from Anthony Barr, sophomore. Young kid actually got some carries last year as a freshman. You don't see a lot of kids, freshmen or even sophomore, get carries. But they thought Barr, a good enough prospect to be able to work him into the lineup. This is Kamara, 8 yards. .41-yard line, the line of scrimmage. We're just a half a minute into quarter number 2, which began with the Strath Haven touchdown, which is why they have a 13-7 lead. 2 touchdowns by Crawford. This is Kamara again. So just in case you are thinking about going up to the game next week, up in Yingling territory, just understand it is a Thursday night game. A lot of the schools have moved that Labor Day weekend game to Thursday instead of Friday, with the understanding that probably a lot of people get out of Dodge and maybe head down to their beach territory or whatever for that last official week of summer. So it's a Thursday game next week, not a Friday game. Barr ahead, he'll get about 3, almost to midfield. Loving the new look Bucs helmets. I'm not sure how well you can see it. I imagine if you're watching on YouTube, and as I said, if you just grab the link from wherever, whether it be Go Bucs Sports or my Instagram or the Bucs email or wherever, and go on your phone, hit the AirPlay button, put it up on your big screen at home, and it's like watching any other football game, I hope. These Bucs helmets, man, they're amazing. Like, they got the pirate flag with the Bucs logo inside of it, and then the numbers, the kids' individual numbers are on the opposite side. So it's a real cool look. And, it's something that, in the Lennox era, he was as simple as can get. He liked that plain black helmet. He didn't like any of the accoutrements that, some of these maybe younger coaches and younger kids liked. And that's just, that goes with the territory. Different coach, different era, different generation, and you see a more, glammed up Bucs helmet, but they really look sharp, man. And I really like that Bucs football logo with the flag. A lot of new merch downstairs, too, if you come up to one of the games. The Bucs football moms are selling some merch with some of these logos, so they look nice. Third change, and it's Kamara about 2 or 3 short of a first down, so decision time for Deluxe. I can tell you what they're not going to do, and that's punt it. Or maybe they are. Because Dunleavy's out there, so maybe they are going to punt, and that really surprises me. And I don't know if that's just a reflection of maybe not having a ton of confidence in the throwing game yet, because they do have some really speedy wide receivers. Dunleavy lined up at the 40 to receive the snap. Nobody back deep for Strath, so they're not necessarily sold on the idea. And I don't know if it's a delay of game. It is. So now they have to punt it, whereas before maybe they were just trying to get it to jump off sides or something. But I would imagine now Strathaven will have somebody back deep to return the punt. So the ball at the 49, they'll move Dunleavy back a couple yards. Strathaven sends back Nangle and Milligan to return. And a fair catch. So, 23-yard line, the line of scrimmage, and really incumbent upon the Bucs defense to make a stuff here. So Milligan, who just received that fair catch, it's not all that common to see the starting quarterback, even in a high school, back deep to return a punt. And it may have only been because they didn't expect the Bucs to actually punt, but then when there is a 5-yard penalty, they realized the Bucs were going to punt, so maybe they just sent him back. Whatever the case, Milligan fair caught that punt, and now he is taking his normal position as quarterback, but you don't see it very often. ...31-yard line after an 8-yard carry on first down. So Panthers pretty much having their way, running the ball. Game moving along at a pretty nice clip, largely because, well, there's no passes, and why would there be if they keep running the ball like this? And Crawford is finally brought down at the 5-yard line after a 64-yard scamper. So again, why would anybody bother throwing the ball and chancing an interception if they could just run for 60 yards of play? Crawford already over 100, well over 100 in the first quarter and a half. And, when you talk about like holes that you want to plug up, maybe it's that gaping hole in the defensive line that you want to plug up, that Anthony Crawford keeps running through. And that second level. They go right back to him. He doesn't get much, but he's down to the 1. And the Panthers are about to go up by 2 touchdowns, barring the unforeseen. And another touchdown for Strath. And the Panthers go up by 2 touchdowns, and I implore you as a Bucs fan, or even if you're just a casual watcher of high school football, or if you're doing some YouTube surfing and you just happen to stumble across, don't turn the game off yet. It's not going to go like this for much longer, I don't think. I think the Bucs are going to get it together. It just sometimes, especially first game of the year, they just kind of come out a little amped up, and this is what happens. So Bucs with an initial touchdown, and then the Panthers have come back with 3 touchdowns in the inside of a quarter. 20-7 in favor of the Panthers, but Bucs will have the ball back, and hopefully they can kind of get it together on the defensive end. Maybe have a little bit more of a target on Crawford, and to be okay. So I'm actually sitting here watching it as we're in between plays here, in between offensive series. I have my daughter here at this game with me, and she is sitting right below me, and I'm sitting here watching her, sitting by herself, watching the game on YouTube, listening to me, and watching the game live in front of her, and I'm my heart is full. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty cool. And she just looked back at me, so that's pretty cool, man. And again, that's what this is all about, man. Football and family and all the great stuff that goes along with the beginning of school. And even though our Bucs are down early, there's a lot of game left and a lot of season left. So let's keep the faith. 40-yard line, Steyer set to kick. Seemingly with no intention of kicking the ball to Kamara, and they see that the Bucs have moved up. And it goes to Gunter to the 35. But Dom held on to it nicely, and with a nice return. And pretty much each time the Bucs have had the ball, it has been right in that 32, 33, 34-yard line. Be interested to see if Bucs decide to put the ball up in the air here. Gunther lined up single coverage on the outside. It looks like Haven with the timeout, and I don't know if they just noticed that. Nangle was 1v1 on Gunther. Now, I don't know that they've ever, if they have anything in the playbook that way, but Who knows? Sometimes when you go down a couple touchdowns, there's a tendency to maybe do the opposite of what you have been doing. Not that the running game hasn't been working for the Bucs, but sometimes, the thought process is we can put some points on the board pretty quickly if we score. The downside is if you're not as confident in your passing game, that could come back to bite you, but we'll see. Not having someone like a Zakie Brooks who could run past everybody, and even though he wasn't all that big, could get up there and out-jump people for the ball. And how many times last year did you see Zakie score on deep bombs from Julian, even if the ball wasn't thrown perfectly? Zakie was just patient and was able to go get it. But he has moved on, as high school seniors tend to do, and he's replaced this year Dom Gunther in that position as the wide receiver. So you'll see him lined up on the near end of your screen. I formation as always, and it's going to go to Abu Kamara. Abu. Fusca's had hold of that ankle, and really that's your best option if you're going to bring down Abu for anything less than 5 or 6 yards, is to just grab hold of the foot or the ankle and hope that he doesn't drag you down the field. He still gets 4. So 39 will be the line of scrimmage. We're under 6 to go in quarter number 2. Again, just a pretty chill and serene atmosphere. The pitch out, and Abu steps out at around the 42. They give him the 43, so it's 3rd down and 2. And I look back on that decision to punt last time, when it was 4th and 2 or 4th and 3. And I'm not saying it was the wrong decision. Maybe it was just one of those things where they thought the defense, if they pinned them back deep, could hold them a little bit. And it didn't turn out that way. And I wonder if that's one that they wish they had back and, hand the ball off to Kamara and take your chances. First down on this play at the 45, 46-yard line. This time, 2 wide receivers. Bulovis to pass, fires out wide. It is complete for 2 or 3 before he's driven back. And that was Abu with the catch. So they move Abu out wide there, and Julian threw a nice ball, but the Strath Haven defense was right around them. And I think that's probably one of those things where if you're the Strath Haven defensive coaches and you notice that Abu Kamara is outside of his normal position in the backfield, that he's probably someone you want to pay attention to. Barr on the sweep. Pass midfield to about the 48. 3rd down and roughly 4. So the 48 is the line of scrimmage. Bulovis in the shotgun formation. Single setback is Kamara. And Strath Haven called screen to coaches right before the play, and they knew it all along. Kamara loses a yard. And again, I wonder, we're almost in the exact same position as last drive with 2:50 and counting left. And it's a precarious position for Coach Lux because Strath Haven doesn't need very long to score. You don't want to give him the ball at midfield. At the same time, you don't want to punt it and give him the ball really anywhere. Your best chance to hold on to the ball is to go for it here and get the first down. You have maybe the best back in the county to do it, and yet, and again, discretion the better part of valor here. They're going to punt. And sometimes a simple conversation with the quarterback gives the coach an indication that, is he feeling it? Does he feel like he can make this play? Does he can you see in his eyes that they're going to find a way to get these 4 yards and this first down? And maybe they just didn't get a sense. Maybe Coach Lux just decided, I like our chances better pinning them back. Now remember, Haven gets the ball to start the second half, and I think that's something that can't be understated because they're going to have that double possession now at the end of this quarter and the beginning of the third, and they already have a 2-touchdown lead. And if you're the Bucs, you got to be really careful that a team that you should match up fairly well with doesn't jump out to like a 3 or 4 touchdown lead on you. And that's the fear at this point. So nobody deep. Dunleavy floats it up there. We're hoping for a Bucs bounce. Don't really get one, but it is at the 20. The 21-yard line will be the official line of scrimmage. Demopoulos, a name that I haven't heard a lot of yet. You do see him out there at the linebacker position now. He does get some time as a fullback as well. I'm sure you'll see him later in the game. But Demopoulos made the down on that punt play. And now it's really important, I think, if you're the Bucs, to make a stop here and keep Strath Haven out of the end zone in this final 2:12. The 7 or 8 yards on first down. They get up to the 30. And they'll just keep at it, no huddle, and right back at it. And certainly, Strath Haven is, the recognition that they have much bigger numbers, and they want to keep the Bucs players, many of whom are playing both ways. They're tired already, which is understandable. It's a hot night in late August. It's the first game of the year. Anymore like you used to get 2 scrimmages and much longer camp, and, that's all been compressed in order to start the season sooner, end the season sooner, and have more playoff games, so the PIAA can make more money. And, without really a lot of thought given to maybe what is best for the athletes. There's probably some people that may think differently, or maybe they think it is better for the athletes. I don't know, but nonetheless, we're starting the season in late August, and they're playing, a lot of these kids playing both ways. They're going to get tired, and teams that are not as deep, teams like Interboro, where you have, 6 or 7 or 8 kids that are starting both ways and playing special teams, at the end of the second quarter, they're going to be gassed, and, they'll get a little bit of a break, which is coming up in a minute and a half. We'll be joined up here at halftime by Joe Barrett, as always, for the Fading Goat halftime report. We'll talk for a little bit. We'll have a little bit of dead time. You get a wide shot of the football field, I guess, during halftime, and then we'll jump back on for the third quarter. Crawford ahead. They're going to give him the first down, it looks like. Clock stopped at 1:19. They'll wind it back up. Certainly plenty of time for Strath Haven. They're not They were just trying to get the clocks to move. I'll tell you one thing, though. There's a lot of years where Bucs have opened up against Strath Haven, and Strath Haven seems to have gotten the better of them in recent years. I think the last time that the Bucs won was that game, Chris Thomas's senior year, where they had the comeback and they went for 2 at the end of the game and ended up winning. And that was over at George King Field, where they scored 2 touchdowns in the last couple of minutes to not just tie it, but go ahead. But, and I only say this because I was sitting in my truck today, and I had left a can of Deep Woods off in there. Because every time I go over to that George King Field, it's like being in the middle of the woods, and I had to spray like 3 coats of bug spray on over there for nighttime contests. Looks like Strath Haven's kind of going to mail it in here. We'll see. They are going to throw it. Milligan, pressure from receiver. Milligan, still on his feet, tries to out-jump him, but that'll be the last play. Now, there is a flag thrown from the 5-yard line. I don't think it's on the Bucs. I didn't see the Bucs do anything there. I don't know what the flag would be, but the only thing that'll keep this game going is a defensive foul. And it looks like the flag is on Strath Haven, so that'll be it. But it looks like they're keeping them. All right, so they declined the penalty, and that'll be the end of the half. I didn't see what the exact flag was, but I also didn't see the Bucs actually commit any type of a foul on the play. So, look, the Bucs did do their job in that they kept Strath Haven off the scoreboard again. Haven will get the ball to start the second half. But one sort of, opportunity for Strath Haven dodged. And, hopefully if they can do that again at the beginning of the third quarter, Bucs can get a little bit of momentum and then get back on the ball offensively like they were in that first drive where Abu Kamara and Tolu Awuyemi just marched down the field. And then they changed the pace and gave it to Barr for the initial touchdown. It's 20-7 at the half. We'll give, Joe Barrett a second or two to get up here for the Fainting Goat halftime report. There is no, I might have mentioned this before, but there is no marching band here tonight for your halftime viewing pleasure. So I could either do a little routine here at halftime myself, or you could just watch the wide-angle view of the field. But either way, we'll be back in about 10 or 15 minutes, maybe even a few minutes less than that. I don't see Barrett, and it would be a grave injustice to do the halftime report without him. So perhaps, he's just dealing with a little bit of something at the half, and we'll be back in a little bit for the third quarter. 27 Strath Haven, 22-7 in favor of Strath Haven. Thanks for watching us so far. We hope to see you in the second half. So, second half about to begin. Just up here making friends with the Strath Haven coaching staff. Bucs down 20-7 at the half. They're going to kick off. Dunleavy set to kick. It's an end-over-end kick. Picked up on the run at the 20-yard line. Could have been trouble, but driven out of bounds at the 40-yard line. And that's where the Panthers will take over. And real nice stop at the end of the half. Last play, kind of a wide open play. You saw Milligan down the run down the field. The penalty was for a leap. Or like you can't really try to hurdle anybody. He tried to get his Edwin Moses on at the end of that half. And I guess in high school, they don't really want to see that. Check out across the field, the Strath Haven faithful have the cell phone lights on. It went and got itself a little dark in the last 15 to 18 minutes. Lights are on here at South Avenue, and we need them. So second down and 3. Haven with their first offensive series of quarter number 3. We're just a half minute in. Fuskas on a sweep. He gets a first down. Hit hard, but he still gets inside the 45 to about the 43. And that's where the Panthers will have another first down. So if you're just joining us late here, Bucs took the opening kickoff and marched down the field in 4.5 minutes. Anthony Barr with a touchdown run of about 12 yards on it's pretty much Abu Kamara for most of the drive. And it looked like, Bucs might have an easy time of it if you just to use that first drive as an indicator. That's all they've had so far. It's been all Strath Haven since then. Touchdowns by Anthony Crawford have made it 20-7. A turnover there after the first Strath Haven touchdown gave them good field position, and they got another one. Some long runs by Crawford. He's got well over 100 yards rushing in the first half. This was not Crawford. This was Austin Connor. They're going to be back. So a little bit of a break here as Strath Haven driven back to the 44-yard line. It'll be first and about 21. There goes Crawford again. He gets more than half of it back. Inside the 35. Let's see, injured player on the field. Jeffrey made that tackle. That's Eddie Jeffrey, 11th grader, and then has been down since then. Not sure if he just kind of got his bell rung or what. You tackle a bigger guy. And he did everything right. He went down low and tripped up Crawford, but he very well could have caught a knee to the head or something of that nature. But he is walking off under his own power. And I only imagine, Trader Jenna has his helmet, which could mean they might be evaluating him for a head injury. He has gone back with Jenna. We'll see. But usually when they take the helmet, that's their way of saying you're not going back in the game just yet. Crawford. Not enough for a first down. And sometimes with so many moving parts during the game, the kids all amped up. Even if they get their bell rung a little bit, well, he did get his helmet back, so he may very well be going back in the game, which is good to see. So Jenna seems to have said it's all good. Sometimes the coaches aren't aware of what the trainer's thinking, and the kid might just say, hey, coach, I'm ready to go. And maybe just a tad shy of the first down. It looks like the side judge there has the fourth down symbol up, so 4th and 1. So Bucs at least with a chance here. They haven't had too many negative plays on that they forced out of Strathaven, but it looks like it's about 4th and a yard and a half. Big play here because, a turnover on downs, I think, could be a potentially big momentum boost. It's Crawford. He's going to fall forward for a first down, so we can pretty much put that to rest. I don't think there were too many people who realistically thought he was going to get driven behind the line of scrimmage, but, Bucs fans are going to be Bucs fans, and they're going to be hopeful, as am I. And 22-yard line will be the line of scrimmage. So somewhere along the line, they're just going to have to get that push. They're going to have to get that penetration up front and get back in the backfield and hope to cause a negative play or maybe even punch the ball loose or something. This is Fuskas. He doesn't get much. Strathaven, rightfully so, looking to do exactly what the Bucs would do in this situation. Methodically control the clock and chew up as much of the second half as they can by running the ball and just moving the chains. And if they happen to get the ball into the end zone and get another first down, then great, or another touchdown, then great. This is Milligan. He won't get a first down, but he'll be close. So we got 3rd and 1 to about the 14, maybe the 13. And Milligan just pushes forward, and he'll get that first down and then a little bit more. Now, a flag on the play will be interesting to see if they're saying a Bucs player yanked the face mask or if they're saying that there was a hold on the play somewhere. But that came from all the way back in the end zone. Face mask on the Bucs. So usually just based on where the flag was thrown, it's going to be one of those two things. And that's what it was. So 1st and goal. Crawford is jammed behind the line of scrimmage. He'll be tackled back there. Forward progress, that's Connor rather. But forward progress will take him to about the 2. So Haven, sitting right in a pretty advantageous position, looking to go up by 3rd touchdown. And Crawford again for a touchdown. And this will make it temporarily 26-7. An opportunity for an extra point try. The Steyer again. And 27-7 will be our score halfway through quarter number 3. Bucs have some work to do if they want to get back in this one. And look, these comebacks are not without precedent, and it's not that the Bucs don't have the offensive firepower to do it. There's some speed on the outside at the receiver position. There's certainly some speed in the backfield. They can score. They just happen to be up against a well-coached team with a long history of success. You know, they didn't exactly do themselves any favors with the schedule. I mean, they didn't, you know, I guess sometimes you want to schedule a team that, you know, you can beat. Well, when you bring in a Strath Haven, they're not like that. They're not an opponent. You know, they're a good opponent. And, you know, you run the risk of starting off the season 0-1, but you don't get better beating up on teams that you can trounce. You get better playing teams like this and trying to minimize mistakes to the point that, you know, after a little bit of time and a little bit of coaching and hopefully minimizing those mistakes, you start to win games like this. And this game isn't over by any means, but Bucs definitely have some work to do, and it'll start with hopefully getting right back down the field and scoring a touchdown here. They do kick it deep. This is Gunther. That's a block in the back, so whatever happens on the play. Probably as egregious a block in the back as you're ever going to see in your life. I don't think it was malicious or ill-intended. It was just right in front of the referee, and you just can't do that. And that's just one of those things where, you know, you have a kid playing on special teams, probably doesn't get a ton of time. And you hope that it's something that they learn from, and it's a mistake that doesn't, you know, duplicate later on. So, field position, 10-yard line. Kamara all the way in the back, close to the 8 or 9 yards back. Bulovis, only a second attempt. And that ball was tipped. It was intended for Gunter, but it was tipped. And not much chance for Dom there. So they get Kamara to the outside. So third down and about 5. Bucs need this first down. Pitch out. Kamara will get the first down. So the chains will move, and you know, even though it only takes them up to about the 21-yard line, you just, I would pretty much say that if the Bucs had to punt the ball deep in their own territory to Strath Haven, minus 3 touchdowns already, that pretty much should be the game. I would say this is as must-score a situation as you're going to find in this game, and hopefully the Bucs will be able to do that. It's Kamara again. He'll get, when it's all said and done, probably about 7 yards. So we're at the 28 now, probably second down and 3. And it's a boo. Again, he's tackled up high, but he just keeps moving. And I just don't know that you're going to be able to lasso him down like that, you know, short of like a massive clothesline, like WWE style. You're just not going to be able to get, I mean, he gets so much speed built up with those legs, and he's such a strong kid. Alfred Thomas will now check in for a boo, which leads you to believe that this might be going Toulouse way. Alfred, the halfback here, the I back, it does go to Alfred. He'll get about 4 on the play. Maybe they just give Abu Kamara a couple plays off, which is certainly well deserved, as he's gotten a number of carries plus played defense and special teams. Strathaven players seem to be a bit shaken up on the play, and I think they're going to call them out. Yeah, the injured Strathaven Panther, number 64, Vince Hales, a guard and defensive end. At least that's what is here on the stat sheet I have. I know there was a couple of errors there, but if he is who we think he is, it's sophomore Vince Hales. And he seemed to have, maybe have wind knocked at him a little bit. But again, walking off under his own power to the applause of the crowd. And he'll come out for at least one play. But refs, just in these days where, so much information has come out about head injuries, referees are going to be hyper vigilant anytime they think a player may have taken a shot to the head. Gone are those days where football players see 3 of everything and try to hit the one in the middle. The minute a player looks dazed and confused, the game is stopped and they're taken out. And I think we're all going to be better off for it in the long run. Thomas dragged out of bounds at the 45. Close to a first down to be 3rd and about 2 or 3. So we're at 45-yard line, 3rd down and 2. And it's a boo. First down. So chains are moving. Couple first downs in a row for the Bucs. And really the first time they've had any type of a sustained drive since that initial drive of the game. And with Strathaven, and they'll take this all day long. They'll trade long drives like this because they have such a lead at this point that, even if the Bucs grind out a 7 or 8 minute drive, yeah, they've gotten a little bit closer, but there's not a lot of time left in the game. We're already inside of a minute 45 here in quarter number 3. Bulovis's pass intended for Gunter to the outside. Coverage by Milligan. And, that's one of those passes that had a potential to have a big gain if he was hit in stride and Gunther was able to shake Milligan. He could have gone to the house. At the same time, it's one of those passes that just thrown the wrong way. Milligan could take it for 6 the other way. So when you have those out patterns like that, they are a little bit dangerous. But, not a lot of pass attempts in this football game for either team. This is Kamara. He's up the gut. It's a first down to the 37. So minute 20 and counting. Just one back in the backfield. Abu near side. It goes to Talou, who's the single set back there. He gets up to the 31. So Awayemi, another nice carry. And when you watch this, I think you see really the best of what Interboro football has to offer right now. And in order to win games against good teams like this, the Bucs just have to keep grinding out these methodical drives that consume the clock. And that's a great strategy. The problem is if you don't score and you give up touchdowns the other way, you end up falling behind and you don't have that big playability to be able to get back in ball games. You see Baller up the middle as a change of pace. You see that a couple of times. And look, they're mixing it up nicely. I mean, it's almost like watching a pitcher change speeds and locations against a hapless hitter. That's what you're seeing right now. This is a fantastic drive being put together by the Bucs. The problem is we just ended the third quarter, and it could be too little too late. They may score and they may get a little bit more back in the game. I don't know if there's enough time for 2 stops and 2 drives and 2 more touchdown drives after this. So either way, folks, throw 4 fingers in the air. It's fourth quarter time here at South Avenue Sports Complex. Bucs are down by 3 touchdowns, but they are driving. We'll switch sides and the ball will be on 20 the other way. 20, 21, 22, something along those lines. So we're about set to get back into action. Bolivis gets to play from Coach Lux. Back into the huddle, and refs blown the whistle for whatever reason. I'm not exactly sure what the deal is. They want to prolong the conclusion of this football game. We're moving along at a really nice clip. I mean, it's 8:33 here on the East Coast, and we're 3 quarters through this game already. I mean, we've already had halftime. We've already had 3 quarters of football. Again, when neither team really throws the ball, and both teams run the ball, and it's a well enough played game where you're not sitting here having, if the refs haven't thrown a flag every other play. Both teams have been disciplined, and you haven't had stupid personal fouls or jumping off sides a great deal. I mean, there's only been a handful of penalties. So it's been a well enough played game. It's been a little bit more well played by Strath, which is why they have a 27-7 lead. But the holdup here is that the clock still says zeros and it does not say 12 minutes. So now we have 12 minutes. I mean, I could have gone down there and fixed it for them. Having worked the clock during many a powder puff game, I'm well schooled on how to do that. And it's Kamara. He tries to get to the outside, but there's a swarm of Strathaven players. He cuts back in and is able to muster up a couple additional yards. They're pretty impressive. So they'll call it the 12-yard line probably. Guess you can say it's about 6 on that carry. It's a boo to the 9. Just shy of a first down. And again, you just would say at this point that if you're looking to win this game, you need to have a greater sense of urgency. I mean, yeah, you want to get this touchdown, but you have to ask yourself at this point, are they playing to not get blown off the field, on the scoreboard, or are they playing to get back in the football game? And whatever decision they make is fine. Just if they think that they can get back in this football game, there needs to be a little bit more of a sense of urgency. Now, that's going to help. Abu Kamara into the end zone for his first of what we hope will be many touchdowns this year. He just went down after scoring that touchdown. And I only hope that that's a cramp. He doesn't seem to be like writhing in pain. Trainer Jen is over there. Now, I mean, look, again, I've mentioned on more than one occasion, it's not as hot of an August night right now. It's cooled down considerably since this afternoon. It's actually quite comfortable out here now. But if you've been playing football on offense, defense, and special teams for almost 4 quarters, for 3.5 quarters, it's quite possible that you're a little tired and a little cramped up. So, maybe we don't need a boo in there right now for this possible 2-point conversion. I don't know if they're going to go for 2 or go for 1. I had my eyes kind of on a boo, but it looks like they're kicking. So, Julian is lined up to be the holder, and Dunleavy is lined up to be the kicker. So they're going to just try and get the 1. Low snap. So now Dunleavy is going to have to try and turn the corner and run it in. That goes about as well as expected. So 27-13. It's still a 14-point game. The snap was a little bit low. Not much Bolovis can do. Despite being a solid baseball player, it's tough to field balls on 1 or 2 hops. So Strath Haven will get the ball back. .10:30 to go. And, really, if you're a Bucs fan, you can only hope for a quick turnover or something, or a 3-and-out, and getting the ball back. Booth sort of off to the side, talking to Wasson. He did put his helmet back on, so I assume he'll be back in on defense. Maybe they won't have him chase down the kick return right here, but I would imagine he'll be back in on defense. His helmet is on, so that's a good sign. You'll see Dunleavy set to tee it up at the 40 to kick it off. So Bucs cheerleaders set to celebrate 13 points. Nice total, but we'd like to get a couple more. Hey, keep those Panthers off the board and somehow score 15 more points. It's a win. High kick. Very nice job fielding that ball by one of the up men for Strath Haven. We'll give credit where credit is due for number 20 on the play. That's Marco Kaufman. And, you would think, all right, well, the kid just slid and caught a bounding ball. With all the English that they put on that ball, I mean, the intention of that play is for the ball to bounce around and then bounce off the Strath Haven kid and be a live ball, and hopefully the Bucs get it. So I wouldn't call it a full-blown onside kick, but it certainly wasn't intended to, be kicked deep or whatever. So nice job by Kaufman. It's one of those things where, like, when you tally up reasons why teams win games and why teams lose games, sometimes it's not a 60-yard touchdown run that the plays that are not huge plays. They don't get a lot of recognition, but that was a nice play by Kaufman there. And look, if Strath Haven just can manage a couple of first downs here and can knock a couple more minutes off the clock, it all but puts this game out of reach, even if they don't score another touchdown. So tight formation again, 5 yards back on the penalty. And good job knocking the running back back. I don't know if that was Connor or if it was Crawford. It was Crawford, but they stuck Connor in there too. Connor, a little bit more well known for being a lacrosse player. His brother playing for Virginia, who's pretty good at lacrosse. I don't profess to be a lacrosse junkie, but a lot of people in Delaware County are. And I know that if you're sort of in lacrosse world, you know that Connor kid is a heck of a player. Headed to Lehigh, he's committed as a junior. So thanks, Burke, for sending me that information. He's sort of my go-to lacrosse guy. Third down and 8. So here's your glimmer of hope right here. You stop him here inside the 50 for, no gain or 1 or 2 yards or a negative play or something. You almost force Strath Haven to punt, which I haven't done yet. And you do get that 3 and out. Strath Haven helped him out a little bit with a penalty. Now they're going to go to Crawford, and he's going to get close to a first down. I imagine the ref's going to give it to him. Spot is... So they did give him the first down. I'm not going to argue with it. Either way, look, it was a difference if it was 8 or 9 yards or 8.5 or 9 yards. You need to stop them back at the 42, not the 50. So, regardless of whether the spot was perfect or not, is pretty much irrelevant. The play needed to be made on defense, and it wasn't. 8.5 to go. Fresh set of downs for the Panthers. And they'll go right back up the gut. And, sometimes when you have a deflating play like that, that's what happens next. And that was the aforementioned Connor. And it's always interesting, I don't know this kid Connor at all. I can't speak to the type of kid he is. I'm sure he's a great kid. I hope he's a great kid. But, when you see someone who stars in one sport and then can come into another sport and be, I don't want to say a role player, but he's not the main running back. He's the second or third option at running back. And sometimes that's tough for kids who excel at one sport. To accept that. And I'm reminded of when Sean Watson played basketball. Sean Watson, who's the defensive coordinator for the Bucs, and he was a fantastic football player, Southeastern PA Inquirer Player of the Year, and didn't even start on the basketball team. And when Coach Garrison kind of ran it by him and said, "Sean, you're not going to start. You're going to be our sixth man. You're going to spell guys on." He says, "Coach, I just want to win." And it's those type of quality kids that are really, difference makers in a lineup. And again, I think sometimes when you really excel at one sport and you're playing another sport, it's not your top sport, and you don't have that same level of proficiency, it's just refreshing to see. Third down and 5. So again, Bucs with an opportunity here to, potentially get the ball back. 6:40 and counting. We'll see. the chain gang wants to move it, but I don't know that the refs are saying 4th down. So, God, the chain gang is like real jumpy over there. You know, they want to move it, but the refs have said no, you're a half a yard short. So, and now the dialer down says 4th down, so it's 4th and a half. Haven will probably take a timeout, or rather, maybe Interboro will take a timeout. Or maybe just the refs are taking a timeout. But either way, the clock's not running. There's 6:01 left. And what is now the biggest play of the game for Interboro is really going to rest in their ability to stop either this quarterback keeper or Anthony Crawford handoff from going a foot and a half. So all that game of inches talk that you hear is probably less than 18 that Strath Haven needs. They sure as heck got it, based on my observations. So 1st down, Strath Haven. And another thing, in terms of like just the speed of this game, the refs have done a fantastic job. Sometimes refs take their good old time getting the clock reset or restarted after a 1st down. This head referee has been unbelievable at, like, the minute they spot the ball for the 1st down, winding the clock. So the top-notch job by this official and this officiating crew. I really don't think that there's been any, egregiously bad calls. And look, they miss 1 or 2 over the course of a game. As long as they're not game changers, it's all good. But I haven't seen anything where I'm like left shaking my head. Strath Haven with a false start here. 1st and 15. But again, all this does is, more time off the clock. 5:04 and counting. And Fuskus. And another thing that, one of the, observations is the number of times that the first contact, it didn't bring Strath Haven runners down. You saw it on the first touchdown that Crawford scored, where the inability to wrap, which I understand is easier said than done, but the inability to jump up and wrap on first contact and letting that running back bounce off and get a second effort and another head of steam makes it nearly impossible to wind up winning the game. And you're going to see another near 1st down. Crawford low to the ground to the 13-yard line. So they need to get another 3 or 4 yards. Inside of 4 minutes. Crawford stacked up, be 4th. Look, man, Haven will take this, Take that 20, 25, 30 seconds in between plays. Take their time in the huddle. They're no longer at the point where they're trying to keep the Bucs defense, like, on their heels. Now they're okay with this deliberate, methodical procession down the field. Crawford stopped, and the Bucs will get the ball back. So 2:49, the ball go over on downs. Is there enough time for 2 touchdowns? I don't know. But look, I like where they're at now better than where they'd be if Crawford was able to convert that 1st down. So nice stack up behind the line of scrimmage. Nice turnover on downs. Bucs with the chance. There's still breath. There's still life. 15-yard line, the line of scrimmage. Bulovis in the shotgun. There's 4 wide receivers. This ought to be interesting. Bulovis looks downfield. Has a man. Got to him before he was able to turn around. But you know what? I like it. You know, the recognition that the home run play to Abu, which I'm sure you'll see this year, isn't something that you could just dial up at will. You kind of have to make it happen. 4 wide again, 3 to the near end, 1 to the far end of your screen. Bulovis screens it out, flares it out rather, and that's going to be, I think, an unnecessary roughness on Crawford, I think. Although they might be calling a block in the back on the Bucs. And if so, that flag came from way back, because what I thought could have been a block in the back, it didn't come right away. It came from the judge all the way in the back. And I agree with the call, because I think when the ball was flared out to Abu, the block downfield was a little bit in the back. You know, it wasn't as bad as the one earlier in the game on the special teams play, but it was definitely bad. You know, Bulovis a little frustrated, and I can understand that, because you have a positive gain there. And, you know, fortunately it happened downfield, so it was a spot foul. 2nd down and long. Low snap, handled nicely by Julian. He's going to have to run it to the 22. So it'll be 3rd. Bucs call a timeout. I like this timeout by Dennis. I think, you know, you can't get a touchdown without getting the 1st down here. So you want to just settle Julian down a little bit. You know you're in 4-down territory. If, you know, Haven's able to get the ball turned over on downs, they're just going to kneel on the ball, you would think, and end this game. So really, you know, Haven's looking to stop them from getting the 1st down. The Bucs know their only chance is to get a 1st down in these next 2 plays and keep it going. So we got more of a conventional setup here. I formation. It's going to Abu. He waits, he delays. And that delay, which sometimes buys him a little bit of time and you know, enables him to find a hole, all that really did was allow more Strath Haven defenders to get on and prevent Abu from getting a 1st down. So now it's 4th down and 3.5 from the 21, and if this play doesn't go for a 1st down, this football game is over. Bulovis, screen, or a flare rather. It is going to be a 1st down. It is Abu Kamara. It goes to the 39-yard line, and really, and the chain gang, which usually, you know, is kind of quick to get down there, is taking their time. And the clock is running. Bulovis, ball batted down at the line of scrimmage. That may have been Hales again. who we saw hurt earlier in the game, but he's recovered nicely to bat that one down. And, Bulovas lucky that wasn't grabbed by Hales. But it does stop the clock with 1:07. And, I think at this point, you were pretty much fooling ourselves if we think the Bucs are going to get 15 points in the next 67 seconds. But what they have done is made it look a little bit more respectable, and they have moved the ball nicely. They've shown that they can get some pass plays strung together, and I like to see that. Bulovas launches one. Looking for Hoffner. You don't see a lot of balls go Frankie Hoffner's way. And I can remember telling him in the lunchroom last year, and I'm like, I really hope they, can get you a ball or two next year. And he said, yeah, me too. Real likable kid. To look at him, you'd say, oh, man, this kid's a tight end. He's not really huge in size. But he's been in the weight room. He's put on a few lbs of muscle, and I'm sure continued over the summer. You see him out there in the outside receiver position, but either way, it was an incomplete pass. 1:01 to go, third down. 2 wide on the near end, 2 on the far end. Bulovas looks for a man on the outside. God, it's a really dangerous throw. A really hard throw for a high school kid to make. You had Dom Gunther, the intended receiver, hit on the play. Ball bounced up in the air. Evan Afeni was also there, but that out pattern is, that's like the type of throw that a lot of college and pro kids have a tough time making. Because if the ball is not on an absolute line, it sits up in the air, and it allows the defense to get there. And that was a ball that really could have been grabbed the other way. It wasn't by any means a poorly thrown ball. It's just a really hard throw to make. This is a screen on 4th down. Abu Kamara will get a first down somehow, and that play speaks to the athleticism and really, I think, validates every compliment that Abu Kamara gets. He was behind the line of scrimmage. The game would have been over. He managed to shake a few defenders and blast past and get a first down. And again, just kind of keep the game going and give the Bucs a chance to get the ball in the end zone again. It's the 47-yard line. Kamara absolutely exhausted. As we do, kind of wind down, we're 46 seconds to go. I want to commend both schools, both student bodies, everyone who's come to the game, both sets of cheerleaders, the Strath Haven band, the fan bases, the parents. This has been a very pleasant evening of football. The kids have been extremely well behaved. The kids have cheered on their teams in a positive way. Both sets of players have played the game well. There hasn't been a lot of dirty plays, a lot of personal fouls. This is what high school sports is supposed to look like. And I commend both schools, both student bodies for doing the right thing. And it's one of those things where you almost wish you can get every kid in the field a pride buck. That ball's intercepted. This will end this football game. Strath Haven, number 15, would be driven out of bounds. So the game doesn't end on necessarily a positive. Aiden Sutherland, the man with the interception. And, any hope of, keeping this game down in the single digits is out the window. Haven will fall on the ball to end this game. And that'll be it. And that'll pretty much empty out the crowds. But again, I want to say that, the winner here, I think, is both schools. Strath Haven to win the game on the field. But I think both schools asserted themselves very nicely, and both student bodies and both fan bases showed themselves very nicely And if they do it for the first game of the year, I hope that both student bodies can carry this throughout the year. And I know some games kind of lend themselves to rowdiness a little more than others do. And maybe, the game before the school year even starts isn't one of them. But that doesn't matter. Because, again, there was nothing but positives tonight. Great job by the seniors in the snack stand, Jimmy Meeks and Gab Cap. Hot dogs were on point. Pizza was good. The beverages were cold. Bucs go down in defeat. They're going to fall to 0-1. They head up to Yuengling territory next week on Thursday if you want to make the trip. We'll be back here in a couple of weeks. So we'll see you then. Thanks for watching. Andrew Herman in the truck. He provides all the pictures. Mr. Evan Perez, the man behind the scenes, not Evan, Christian Perez, provides all the work behind the scenes. We thank him for his service. This is his third year helping us out. Just does a miraculous job of helping out Mr. Herman. I am Bill Soroka. I don't even know how many years I've been doing this, but I love every second of it. I love these Friday night lights, man, and I can't wait to be out here again in a couple of weeks. I think this was a great way to start the year. The only thing that would have been better would have been a W. But hey, man, you can't have it all. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. I hope everybody out there has a great sort of last couple of days of the summer and a great start to your school year. We'll see you inside the halls of Interboro for the 2022-2023 year. I got a lot of government knowledge to drop. Paying attention quite a bit going on in the world of government. So we'll get you all caught up starting next week. I love you all. Thanks for